Hi everyone and welcome back. The other day I received an email notifying me that I had reached 100 subscribers for my YouTube channel, Frankie's Fire. I am so elated. Thank you to all of you who are watching and hopefully enjoying the channel. In the coming weeks I will update you on all the peppers that I have planted as summer is here. But for now, to show thanks for 100 subscribers, I want to share how I made this delightful sweet potato gnocchi. So let's get cooking. For this recipe I used 500 grams or 1.1 pounds of sweet potato. I baked them in a 400 degree Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius oven for 40 minutes and allowed them to cool until I was able to handle them and peel the skin off. The enemy of gnocchi is moisture, so I bake them instead of boiling them. The less moisture in your sweet potatoes, the less flour you'll need to add, which means less dense and lighter gnocchi. If the sweet potatoes turn out too moist, you could always substitute a third of the sweet potato for a normal potato. The other ingredients are 2 cups of plain flour and some extra for dusting and shaping, half a cup of grated Parmiggiano Reggiano cheese, 1 egg and a tablespoon of salt. The first thing we need to do is put the sweet potato into a bowl and mash well with a potato masher. You can use a potato ricer, but not everyone has one, so I wanted to show you how I did it without. Once the sweet potato has been mashed to remove any large clumps, we can then add the rest of the ingredients. Now we need to get in with clean hands and mix the dough until it forms a ball. This dough will be sticky due to the moisture of the sweet potato. So I add a little flour once the ball has been formed in the bowl to stop it from sticking. I've had plenty of failures with this recipe, don't worry, including adding so much flour to the sticky dough to the point where the gnocchi end up like bullets. I also try to avoid over mixing. But anyway, we're just going to get in there and mix until our ball is formed. Now we need to transfer the dough onto a floured surface and knead for a few minutes. You can see the dough is sticky, so we want to keep adding a little flour as we knead until it is as smooth as possible. As I said before, this dough will always most likely turn out sticky because of the inevitable moisture in the sweet potatoes. I'm now going to cut this up into quarters and shape the gnocchi. I add a little more flour to my benchtop and begin to roll the dough out like a sausage. The dough is so soft, moist and sticky, you can actually squeeze it into shape. I found squeezing was better than rolling for this dough because after adding the flour I found it was too slippery and elastic to roll out. After shaping out as best I could, I began to cut the individual gnocchi into around thumb-sized pieces. You want these roughly the same size so they will cook evenly. We now need to roll each gnocchi into a ball before we shape them, so I add a little flour to stop the balls from sticking. I like to roll them into a ball before giving them the classic ridges because I find it easier than if I was to roll them straight after cutting them. The gnocchi are now ready for shaping. Here I have a gnocchi paddle that I have floured, which will give the gnocchi its classic shape. I lift the paddle on a 45-degree angle and place a ball at the top. I then push down with my thumb and roll it at the same time, and then let gravity do the rest. The paddles are very cheap, around $5, and I highly recommend getting one if you make a lot of gnocchi, but you can also use a fork. It won't work out as well, but it will do. The idea of the ridges is so that each individual gnocchi holds onto whatever sauce you pair it with. Once you have rolled out all the gnocchi, I like to transfer them to a plastic tray sprinkled with fine semolina to stop them from sticking. At this point you can cover the tray with plastic wrap and put it in the freezer, and that's what I did for the remainder of the dough, but I'm going to cook this small batch for you. Over to the stove, and I've got a saucepan with boiling water. I'm going to add a pinch of salt, and then we can add in our gnocchi. I added my gnocchi in one at a time because these were very delicate and I didn't want them to get squashed and lose their shape. Once they were all in, using a rubber spatula, I swirled the water around to stop the gnocchi from sticking to the bottom of the saucepan. After 3 minutes, the gnocchi look really vibrant, have slightly expanded and have risen to the top, which is the sign that they are ready. I'm going to be serving this with a freshly made basil pesto. I'll pop a link to my basil recipe if you want to see how I make it. I'm going to remove these using a strainer and place them into a bowl. I have emptied the cooking water from the saucepan, and I'm placing a couple of teaspoons of olive oil in the still hot saucepan for our gnocchi to go in. I then add the freshly cooked gnocchi back into the saucepan, add a couple of teaspoons of pesto, and using a rubber spatula, mix everything gently until the pesto is evenly distributed. I have transferred the gnocchi to a serving plate, and for the finishing touch I'm going to grate some extra Parmiggiano Reggiano cheese. And that's how I made sweet potato gnocchi. That's about all for this 100 subscriber special episode. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment, like, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you same chilli time, same chilli channel.